Is it too late to find and buy an affordable house here in 2022 in America? I've been getting a lot of questions as far as like, Jeremy, how can you recreate your path to finding an affordable home and what that process looks like? And if you're new here, my wife and I, we actually moved from Oregon, the West Coast, came to the Midwest. Here in Michigan, we were able to buy a home in cash, and we weren't looking for the fanciest home, so we bought a small home. We wanted something that was paid off. And ultimately, we really wanted to position ourselves to not be tied to the 9 to 5, right? So my wife can be a stay-home mom or a housewife. That's something that she wanted and we wanted for our son. And for me to basically just not be tied to one job so I can actually do things that I want to do and enjoy life now and not wait till I'm 65. And so I feel like a big part of that is housing, right? As far as like what, how much rent is, how much your house payment is. By moving, we were able to basically eliminate that completely by buying a small house. So in this video, I really want to kind of walk you through just like kind of 3 simple steps that if I was to do it again, this is how I would implement it. And I think that's what people are looking for right now, because obviously I know the housing market is crazy just within the past year. I moved here about 2 years ago, but I think the very first step though is really knowing where to look. And so if you never really kind of looked outside of kind of the West Coast, or maybe you live on the like New York area, the far East Coast, I just want to kind of show you my screen here and kind of break down and show you like kind of where the affordable homes at that are really under $150,000. So I have realtor.com put up here, and let's filter by the price. Let's just do $150,000. I think that's relatively affordable. Let's do 3 bed, 1 bath. I think that's pretty realistic here. Let's not show the hiding, or let's not show the pending or contingent. And I think that's good. Let's just start there for now. Now, as you can see here, it looks like there's quite a few homes here, but they're primarily all in the Midwest. And as you look towards the west, or even like central here, there's really nothing, right? And I think that's kind of like the harsh reality that we faced, is that there's nothing under, not even 200,000. It's not going to change very much. Let's just change it in here. Let's see. Price, let's just do 250. See, it really didn't even change. And that's crazy. And so I feel like my wife and I, we had to have like a harsh kind of like talk and like just like a harsh reality check as far as like, wow, okay, we may not be able to afford a home. I mean, we could afford it as far as like payments wise when we were living in Oregon. But I mean, as far as like not being tied down to the mortgage where I have to rely on my job, and that's something that we had to consider. And so when we decided to take a road trip around the US and really kind of explore. So we didn't choose Michigan just because of the affordability, but also as we were traveling, we actually found a church that we like, made some friends. We like the colder weather, and that's something for us. And ultimately, Michigan has all 4 seasons. It's not like humid throughout the whole entire year. It's not cold the entire year. It really has all 4 seasons, and that's something that we liked. And it has a lot of like lakes and trees, and that's something that we really love, about the Northwest. And we really couldn't just do the heat like Texas or Florida or anything like that. Every 3 months, you can save a few $100s to take a road trip. I mean, you're not going to stay at the nicest hotels or anything like that. But as far as like to kind of discover what's out there, I think that's more realistic, more practical, kind of every 3 months, where you can take, maybe 3 days off, 4 days, and just go check out a new city. And I'd say the second step is you just have to make a plan. And I know this is where it kind of gets tough, because if you're married, I mean, you got to get on the same page with your wife, right? You guys got to get on the same page as far as like what your vision is, how you want to live, what your goals are. And I know it can be challenging, especially if the other person is comfortable and you're not, and you know what I mean? It can be really challenging. And so I feel like the very first step before you need to dive into finances or looking for houses in the area you want to be in, is like really getting on the same page with your spouse. But if you're not married, then this kind of just makes it a lot easier. I think maybe you just kind of have to deal with kind of like your family, right? Accepting your move, and you have to be okay with leaving your family too if you want to move. And I think this is just a hard thing to do, having these tough conversations with your loved ones. And you got to consider what this is going to cost, not just financially, but spiritually. mentally. Like, what's the cost in your relationship if you have kids? Then you got to see, with your job, whether you can, work remote or whether you're going to quit your job and just start fresh. You have to decide whether you're going to completely eliminate your debt or you're going to build an emergency fund to reduce risk as you, prepare for a move. There's really a lot of things to consider. And I think it really just takes courage to move or just change jobs. It's really overwhelming, and I really feel like people get stuck kind of just like in the planning phase. And especially especially with the marriage, when you're trying to get on the same page, like if you just keep butting heads, like it's just never gonna work. You're never gonna get past that stage and not even get to really kind of like the planning, the details. And so I really feel like people get stuck with that. And I have a guide down below where to help you get clear, and I give away that for free because that's kind of like the process that my wife and I took. And so that leads me to step 3, which is position yourself to actually win the deal. Position yourself to win, really, is what it is. Like, position yourself and your family to live the life that you actually want to live and have the best chances at that. And so that's why my wife and I, we considered even moving, is because it's like, okay, we can, we were comfortable, we had good jobs, but we had to consider whether it's like, okay, how long are we actually going to do this to actually afford a home? And what is an extra $20,000? Say I get a raise or something. How far is that actually going to get us? And so we had to I feel like think bigger or change our way of thinking as far as like, okay, well, that extra $20,000 that we make, is that really going to make a drastic difference in the offer that we make, to buy a home, or is that going to make a drastic difference in our savings? And we really found out that, no, for us, we wanted to kind of get to where we wanted to faster, and so we were open to move. That's what I mean by positioning yourself to win. And that's why we were able to come out here and pay cash for a small home, right? Because we saved up what we needed to. We knew kind of what the market was in Michigan. Just 2 years ago, you could see houses for $30,000, $50,000, so many houses under $100,000. And right now, it's looking pretty slim, but there is still availability if you're looking to move and completely kind of eliminate your mortgage or just completely reduce it. And so, like I said, with this market right now, the people that are winning deals are paying cash. Even on foreclosed homes, I had a question, a coaching call, and he was asking me about foreclosures, and you have to pay cash, right? There's people that you can, the banks will take loans, but they will take the cash offer because they want to get rid of this. Now, if it was just a home that wasn't owned by the bank, then a homeowner would typically kind of take the highest offer, even if it was a loan. But typically cash deals just always win because you can close in 2 weeks. Or even just to have a down payment. Have a down payment that is higher, that will also win you the deal, because whoever has more cash is just less risk for the owner or the seller. And in this market, you just have to move fast. And that's the thing, you have to move fast. But I wouldn't move fast as far as physically. I wouldn't move fast unless you know you want to be there. Otherwise, you're just going to regret the decision. So if you're in a place where you're not even sure where you want to live, but you're trying to find a house, but you're kind of stuck where it's man, I don't know if I want to actually buy a house here because it's just super expensive, I would just slow down, take the time to kind of just explore other areas. If it's just other areas around your city or other areas around the country, accept that, you're in a process of learning, you're in a process of trying to do what's best for you, because you don't want to get a home and not be a blessing. I don't want to position my family for us to be tied to a job. I want to have options, and I don't even think necessarily it's even it's not even, if you live in the West Coast, it's not even probably the best time to buy a house. I probably just wouldn't buy a house. I would just wait it out, or just accept that you want to live there. If this is where you want to be, then focus on growing your income. That's really the only option that you have. Is okay, if you're going to stay here, focus on growing your income so you can actually afford the houses, or just be patient. And I know it's hard to accept, right? Be patient and just see what else is out there. Let me know if you have any questions down below. I really want to know your thoughts. And I know this market is crazy. This is just historically, we've never seen this before. And I don't think you should completely blame yourself if you can't afford a home, and you shouldn't feel down and sad about it, because there's things that are out of your control. You can't control what the government does, the inflation. Things are shifting with jobs. People are able to work remote, and so people are able to buy wherever. I feel like that's great as far as that, but then there's just a lot of things, a lot of changes happening right now in America, and a lot of things are not up to you and you can't control. So I wouldn't completely feel depressed or down that you can't afford a home in your area, because it's crazy how things have changed just in the past 2 years. And that's nothing that you've done, but there's other external factors that have gone into that. So I really hope that this was helpful. If you have any questions, please leave them down below, and I'll consider them for the next video. If you're still watching, you probably noticed, like, you know, when you set up here, so I moved the bed that was upstairs in the loft area, and I'm just making this my office. It was just getting a little hard downstairs. You know, my wife, when I had to make videos, she either like left the house or had to go in the bedroom with my son, and so it was really hard to kind of schedule shooting. And so now that I have my own place, I have my camera set up, got my little desk here, and so I can just turn on the camera and shoot without any issues, and my wife can be downstairs, take care of the baby, and not have to worry about anything like that. And it's just crazy. Like, I'm a dad with a YouTube home studio setup thing. It's pretty simple right now, but I'll probably, I don't know if I should paint this wall or not. Like, paint it a darker color. Probably gonna get a bookshelf, but we'll see how this progresses. Either way, thanks so much for watching. It's my 5th year anniversary today, and I gotta go. I'm gonna take my wife out, gonna hang out, maybe get away for the weekend. And I'll see you in the next video.